so friggin' tired, which is rude if you ask me. Like, nobody needs Braxton Hicks that go on and on and on and on. Can I dye my hair? Can I travel? Can I eat sushi? Roll by really quick, like a big flurry, right? I have this like dull ache on one side. This term is incredibly offensive. Yeah, no one told me that. Pregnancy edition. I work in the pregnancy world and I hear a lot, whoa, like, well, I didn't know that. And so here it is. This is the new series, Nobody Told Me. This is your pregnancy installment. We're going to go through 5 things no one told you about pregnancy, but I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to start off with talking about why you are so friggin' tired. So exhaustion in pregnancy, especially in that first trimester, it is the real deal. And you may think like, yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm expecting it. I'm going to be tired. No. You're not going to be tired. You're going to be like tranquilizer dart in the butt, tired. Because it really will come over you like a wave out of nowhere and you'll be like, oh my God, I feel like I could just fall asleep at the drop of a pin. And the reason that you feel that way, the thing that's causing all the ruckus is hormones, because, you know, hormones always cause a ruckus in our bodies. But this time you're looking at big bad progesterone, which spikes up in early pregnancy. And it's that spike in progesterone that's likely causing your drowsiness, because this can have a mild sedative effect. Isn't that cute? There's also other physical body changes at play that are adding into that tiredness factor. And a big one being when you're pregnant, you actually have a bigger blood volume that is moving around your body. You're making extra blood. And we're not talking like an extra cup of blood. We're talking an extra liter plus of blood that is moving around your body, that your heart is responsible for pumping around your body every second of every day. And you need that extra blood to provide the placenta and your baby with what they need to thrive throughout the pregnancy. But you can imagine toting around all that extra blood could really make somebody feel tired who's not used to toting around all of that extra volume. Later in pregnancy, some people actually become low in iron. They become anemic. And these lower than needed iron levels can actually add to the tiredness, because now you'll also have a low hemoglobin level. And that hemoglobin, it is responsible for circulating the oxygen around your body. And you can imagine if you have less oxygen going to your muscles and tissues, that can make a girl feel tired pretty quickly. Now, I totally get the pregnancy exhaustion. I have hit that wall 4 different times in my life. My name is Tina. I am a certified perinatal nurse. I'm also a certified breastfeeding specialist and a mom of 4, hence the 4 brick walls. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. Come back for even more content like this. If you are not new here, thank you so much for being here and supporting me. Let's move on to the next thing nobody told you about. Next thing I gotta tell you about, this is probably more common in first pregnancies, or at least more reported in first-time pregnancies, which is sort of the case for a lot of things in pregnancy, because unless you've been pregnant and grown a human inside of you, you don't really know what is expected and what is actually concerning. So this one comes up a lot in first-time pregnancies. People will come into the hospital and they'll say, I have this like dull ache on one side or this dull ache on the other side. It's kind of a constant achy pain. It's different from like the itchiness of stretch marks if you're having those. This is known as round ligament pain, and it is actually common in pregnancy, and it's reported a lot, and it's actually something that might be expected as things are stretching and growing out. Even though it is common and expected, if it's your first time feeling those sensations or that pain in your pregnancy, it is important to let your specific provider know, because there might be something about your specific pregnancy that sets off some red flags for your provider. So big message there is always keep your provider in the loop as things progress during your pregnancy. Now, your uterus is actually supported by 2 ligaments. They come from kind of the top and the sides of the uterus on both sides, and they attach down into the pelvic bone. And then as you are moving and flexing, these ligaments can tighten up, and this is where that dull, achy pain on one side or another might be arising from. So if you're having round ligament pain during your pregnancy, what can you do? And the first thing, again, you should do is let your provider know, because they might have specific tailored medical advice for your specific pregnancy. In general, people report things like support belts or hot and cold therapy or a warm shower can help. Also, if you can sort of decrease these sudden movements that you're doing, because again, it's with those movements that those ligaments tighten up and you're going to feel that pain. But suppressing sudden movements isn't really logical for a lot of people, but you can sure try. Also, a lot of people report that over-the-counter Tylenol helps. Just be sure to take it as advised. Advil is not safe to take in pregnancy. So if nobody has told you this, I am now telling you. The class of medications known as NSAIDs, or non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, that's going to include things like Advil and ibuprofen and naproxen. These are not advised to be taken during pregnancy. And that is because it is not clear whether or not this class of medications is safe for your baby, especially in the first trimester. It is possible that these medications can cause birth defects. So unless advised specifically by your provider for your specific pregnancy, Advil should be avoided. Nobody told me the answers to my can I questions. You're like, what's a can I? Can I dye my hair? Can I travel? Can I eat sushi? Can I go in a tanning bed? All of these questions that come up where normally you would just do the damn thing, but because you are pregnant, things become really, really murky and you want to know the answers to your can I questions. Nobody told me the answers to my can I questions unless I asked them specifically. So while I don't have the answers to your specific can I questions, my advice to you is this: keep a little journal with you during pregnancy. And as those can I questions come up, write them down, because then when you go to your prenatal appointment, you can just rapid fire off your can I questions and you can ask the person who's responsible for the care of you and your baby your specific can I questions. And the prenatal appointments, they kind of roll by really quick, like a big flurry, right? So if you have things written down, you're not going to forget them. Whereas if you're just trying to remember them while maybe your pants are around your ankles, it can be a little bit harder. So no one told me the can I questions, but I think everyone should be told the answers to their specific can I questions. Well, I'm not a fan of Googling your can I questions. There's something that's almost like Smart Google. The American College of Gynecologists and Obstetricians, they actually have an Ask ACOG section on their website where they have information specifically related to pregnancy. A lot of the can I questions are there. So while your first point of contact and information should always be your specific provider to give you tailored health advice, if you are looking for information online, please don't go to Google. Maybe give that a try on ACOG's website. I will link it down in the description. And lastly, nobody told me that Braxton Hicks contractions can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And usually they show up in the third trimester. And this is where people start to expect them because, you know, TV and Hollywood shows us these people with these very pregnant bellies that are about ready to pop and they're having Braxton Hicks, and that's where you're hearing about them.
Maybe it's Braxton Hicks.
Okay, we get it. You know the term Braxton Hicks. We're all very impressed.
However, I got to find out the hard way that Braxton Hicks contractions can actually show up as early as the second trimester when you have a long time to go still, which is rude if you ask me. Like, nobody needs Braxton Hicks that go on and on and on and on. Let's talk about what Braxton Hicks are and what you can expect. Braxton Hicks contractions are sometimes termed false labor contractions, and if you've ever had Braxton Hicks contractions, this term is incredibly offensive because they can really feel like the real deal. But that false narrative, that false contraction narrative, that comes from the fact that Braxton Hicks will not be causing cervical change, whereas true labor contractions, you're going to feel them and then you're going to see the change in your cervix because they're actually progressing your labor and moving it forward. Now, Braxton Hicks contractions, even though they are false, they can still be painful. They can still be close together. They can still go on for more than an hour, but they are not going to be causing that cervical change. Though sometimes it really feels like it is causing the cervical change.
Thank God, that's no big deal. Most women don't even feel them.
As to what causes Braxton Hicks contractions, sometimes there's really no rhyme, no reason, and they are happening and you just kind of have to cope with them and move about your day throughout the rest of your pregnancy. Sometimes there are modifiable things that are happening though. If you have a full bladder, that can cause Braxton Hicks contractions. Also, if you are dehydrated or if you are low on magnesium, if you have overexerted yourself, sometimes if someone just touches your belly, it can actually cause a Braxton Hicks contraction. So sometimes you know what's causing them, you can fix it up and maybe they go away. Sometimes you sort of just have to struggle through them until you finally get to meet your baby. Just think of them like practice contractions, like your uterus is toning itself up, getting itself ready for the big marathon that is ahead. But man, they are annoying. I had them and they were really frustrating and they were really exhausting. We got it done in the end, but yeah, Braxton Hicks, that's something that nobody told me about and they really should have. So Pregnancy Edition is done, but be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications because nobody told me Childbirth Edition, it is coming out very, very soon. And in the meantime, if you want a video all about how to tell the difference between Braxton Hicks and true labor contractions, because we just talked about those jerks, be sure to click that one there. If you like this one, show it some love. And as always, be happy, stay healthy, have fun. Bye.